Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you lovely folks joining me here nice and early over at Marvel Snap Zone. Welcome back for another daily deck highlight segment, taking a look at some of the coolest decks posted with us out there in the community today. I've got a really sweet one for you today. It's a mostly Pool 2 and Pool 1 deck featuring a single card from Pool number 3, and that card is not a particularly common one when it comes to the cards people are happy to open, which makes this a kind of sweet one to showcase. This is a deck by user RatoVeneno, or Veneno. I am no good with names, and I'm very, very sorry. We're calling this one Storm and Crossbones. It's referred to on the website as Sunspot Crossbones, and it's kind of an interesting concept to me as a bit of a fair mid-range deck, if that's the kind of thing you're looking for as you enter Pool 3. This one really looking to leverage the power of these 4-cost cards, mostly Crossbones here. 8 power on Crossbones, which is a lot more than you would expect on a 4-cost card. But the downside to that, you can't play it at a location if you're not winning it already. So it's a great swing, but you have to be ahead in that spot already. Jessica Jones is a very similar effect where you can play it, but if you don't play something there next turn, it's also going to give you 8 power as a 4-cost card in that location. Again, quite a lot of stats for that resource cost. So this deck is very much looking to utilize these two cards alongside Storm. Storm, of course, a Pool 2 favourite for many people. Floods a location out and makes sure the next turn is the last turn you can play something there. Storm costs 3, which means these 4-cost cards can come down straight after Storm and provide a very large influx of stats into a location that she has flooded out that you might not otherwise be able to win. The rest of this deck is very much a fair mid-range deck, looking to utilise some of the core hate pieces and packages you kind of have access to in Pool 1 and Pool 2. We've got a selection of anti-meta cards in here, mostly in the form of Cosmo, fantastic right now at turning off all those on-reveals from many Wong decks. We've got Shang-Chi to deal with many Black Panthers and other large units that come down into play in the final turns of the game. We've even got things like Armor here in order to stop the Destroyer decks from doing their thing, and decks that want to kill Bucky Barnes and a Nova and all this kind of stuff and shut off that thought process as you go. Some more interesting kind of pseudo anti-meta tools available in things like Scarlet Witch, can help you remove locations that are maybe a bit problematic for what you're trying to do. And then Iceman here, a fantastic 1-cost card that's going to help disrupt your opponent's plans over the course of the game. The rest of the cards in this deck are actually kind of interesting inclusions based on what this deck is trying to do. We have Sunspot here as a fantastic early 1-drop play that plays very well with The Infinaunt. This deck is built to have 0 5-cost cards in it, meaning that you're going to be quite often very happy to skip turn 5 and put 5 energy into Sunspot to allow you to play the Infinaunt and dominate a location on turn 6. This is really important because, of course, you've tried to win one location with Storm plus Crossbones or Storm plus Jessica Jones already. Hopefully, the Infinaunt can lock up the other one all by itself in many games. Last but not least, though, we've got Nightcrawler here as a good way of playing with Storm. Obviously, this user not having access to something like Dr. Doom wants a way to be able to play into the location they've stormed out. Nightcrawler gives you the ability to do exactly that. Last but not least, possibly the most interesting inclusion in this deck, Star-Lord. Star-Lord, another way of really utilising Storm and kind of understanding where your opponent intends on playing, and just having a 5-power 2-cost card very consistently if you can make your opponent play to the location you want to. That's really easy to do thanks to Storm, thanks to cards like Cosmo, turning off, these ongoing effects that your opponent's going to want to have access to. They're not going to want to play there. Maybe things like Armor, not going to want to play to those locations either if they need to be destroying stuff. So really flexible 2-cost card. Very interesting decision here by Rato. So sweet one here. We're going to go on over to our game screen, play a couple with this, and hopefully we'll be able to show you a little bit of what Storm and Crossbones is all about. Of course, folks, if you haven't already and you are enjoying the content over here at Marvel Snap Zone, you want to see more of this type of thing, do make sure you subscribe for me, hit that button down below, press the bell and turn on your notifications, otherwise you're going to miss us when we go live next. So interesting here, I think for the most part we're going to lead on Iceman on turn 1 here to disrupt our opponent as early as possible. Sunspot will be equally good on turn 2 if we don't play Scarlet Witch. Opponent just snapping. Okay. Let's see how that one plays out. I don't think we have any reason to run just yet, but I think Sunspot equally good on turn 2 as it is on turn 1, and Iceman better on turn 1 than it is on turn 2. Apparently that's not true when they hit your Sunspot with their Iceman, however, so Interesting. We do get to play into Gamma Lab. The question is if we want to. Part of me wants to just Scarlet Witch that away, so we don't have to worry about our opponent filling it up. But we do have Shang-Chi, so why would we do that? Alright, let's just play out our Sunspot, get it on board this time. Let our opponent play into the Gamma Lab and make many, many Hulks, and then we can remove all of those Hulks and try and win Gamma Lab the hard way afterwards. Ninja into Shadowlands, sure. So I'm actually going to Star-Lord into Gamma Lab, assuming my opponent intends on playing here. Gives me another Hulk as well in the process. And I think this 1-power Nightcrawler is mostly redundant and might as well be a Hulk too. So let's make ourselves some Hulks in the middle. Tempting to just like save an energy for Sunspot here, to be honest, but I think I would rather just have the extra 12 power. Tough one, because I don't really need to play too many stats to the middle here to win it, thanks to already having Shang-Chi. So maybe this is overextending a little bit. Gamma Lab definitely gave us some interesting decisions this game. Very cool. Opponent chooses not to play into Gamma Lab, chooses to instead Avengers Compound with Storm. So getting flooded out on the side here. We'd love to draw one of our 4-cost cards here. Crossbones, Jessica Jones, they would both be fantastic draws thanks to the flooding location. Instead we draw our own Storm, which is not ideal. So I think we're just going to try and Storm this out again. And try and buy ourselves another turn of playing into the flooded area. We are ahead in the Gamma Lab, and it should be very, very hard for us to lose this. The problem will be winning another location. So opponent will Jubilee. Hopefully they flip a fatty and we can like Shang-Chi it away. They actually hit their own Shang-Chi, which is kind of beneficial for us not getting completely ruined in the middle here by Shang-Chi. Okay, I think we do probably... Do we just skip turn 5 here? I think we do. Just want to put the energy into our Sunspot. And if we draw the Infinaunt, that's even better. We do have, 4 cards in deck, 25% chance that we can just draw the Infinaunt. So opponent's Sunspot's ahead of us, so we can't rely on winning flooded. That's unfortunate. Okay. So I think the best we can do here, truth be told, is like... play out Jessica Jones, have the other 2 go here, so if my opponent plays a 6, we break even. It's probably not enough, to be honest, but... I guess I'm better off playing Cosmo, right? Because if any points here wins the location, Cosmo is enough. If they play here and don't respect, Sunspot, I can possibly win this location. Gonna take the chance on playing Cosmo, I think. Yeah, look at that. We managed to squeak this one out. Respect enough points. It was actually correct to go with Cosmo, but Jessica Jones would have done the job as well. A lot of really interesting choices in that game off the back of some of our decisions and our opponents. Interesting. I think I'm leaving that one in even though it didn't really showcase any of the Jessica Jones or Crossbones side of things. Just because it was so interesting. So much interesting location variants and moving pieces. Very cool. On to the second game with this one. Storm Jessica Jones is kind of the 1-2 punch we're looking for here. Star-Lord might even be good into Avengers Compound on turn 5, possibly. So let's just run out this Nightcrawler. We can pop it here so we know it's safe for now. Can always move it around a little bit later on if we need be. New York. New York, probably not going to change very much here, to be honest. Do we run out... I think given that we've drawn the Infinaunt, I actually want to run out Star-Lord here. And we're basically just coin flipping as to where our opponent's going to go. I think I'm going to try mid, because I intend on flooding it out. Oh, no, never mind. Opponent with the Bucky, okay. Well, in which case, if we're playing out Bucky here, that's not terrible, because we can just start flooding out New York. knowing that our opponent probably isn't playing into New York. They probably want to destroy their Bucky. Opponent with a Rock and a Carnage, sure thing. Well, we're basically set for the rest of this game. Okay, Crossbones, basically the same this time round as Jessica Jones, both pretty redundant. So I think we're just gonna play out either one of them. Don't think it really matters, but I think we're enough ahead here that I'm gonna be snapping. Crossbones hopefully locks up Flooded, and then we can just Infinaunt on the right on turn 6, and that should be enough. And I think that's definitely worth snapping before we do that. It's definitely a case where you can see the redundancy of having multiple versions of the, like, Jessica Jones effect, the 8 power 4 cost card in the form of Crossbones. Just means you're going to draw this more often. So yeah, we're definitely just passing here to play the Infinaunt on turn numero 6. Sadly, no Sunspot to eat up all that free juice, but you can't always draw it up perfectly. Looking good. Definitely a few turn 5 plays here that could be a little scary. Mr. Sinister, however, is not one of them. Alright, well, we can safely move Nightcrawler over to Subterranea and play our Infinaunt, and I think we're going to be in pretty good shape here. So, let's try and bring it home and win ourselves 4 cubes. I think opponent knows what's happening here, so it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a retreat. Unless they have a Shang-Chi available or something similar. Maybe we're supposed to just play into Avengers Compound to beat Shang-Chi? That was probably a bit silly, actually. Yeah, they know what's happening, but we can beat Shang-Chi there by playing into Avengers Compound, so we probably should. 2 for 2 with this deck so far. Let's see if it can get a perfect 3. Good example of what we're all about there as well. Flooding out a location into a Crossbones, into a really big, fat Infinaunt, so... exciting stuff. Can we pick up all 3? Alrighty. Again, just keeping this Nightcrawler safe seems perfectly reasonable to me. No reason to put it in any danger in a location we know nothing about. Star-Lord, unfortunately, gets eaten up by Yondu. So no Star-Lord for us this game. Likely no turn to play either. Oh, never mind. Found ourselves an Icy Boy. Pretty fine to just load this up. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't. The big house is actually kind of bad if I want a Crossbones without Storm. So I guess I'm going to start loading up another location here with the intention of going like Cosmo Crossbones on the right. Assuming this is a location that isn't, you know, absolutely terrible for us. Well, that works too. Drawing Storm and getting a Sanctum Sanctorium means we're ahead here. And we're just going to try and storm out the big house and, like, slam down Crossbones into it. And then hopefully just Infinaunt mid. Opponent does play into the big house. Does have the Carnage. So we actually can't play Crossbones here as things stand. As Carnage puts our opponent ahead, so... that may have been a small mistake on our part, but I think we're fine. I think we just go Cosmo Sunspot. This is still great, right? Cosmo Sunspot here, lock off on reveals, put 5 energy into Sunspot on turn 5, play the Infinaunt on turn 6. Gonna snap, feels pretty good to me. Opponent with the Demon pulls them up to 12, Deathlock in the middle, more than fine. So stormed out. Again, no play from us here. That's not what we want. We just want to turn on our big 20 power unit at the very top. Just going to pass. Really don't want to see a Killmonger here. That would be pretty awful. Okay, so we're ahead in 2, and now we get to play Infinaunt into the last one. And hopefully, this is more than enough to take this one home. Fingers crossed. Don't be a Killmonger. Oh, no. We still get there, right? That's crazy. Look at that. Still winning by 1 point through a Killmonger. Wow, 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 wow. 3-0 for this deck when all is said and done. Picks up all 3 wins over the course of the game series. Yeah, I mean, pleasantly surprised by this one, to be honest. Infinaunt looked great alongside Sunspot. The Storm, Jessica Jones, Crossbones combo felt fantastic. These anti-meta tools all felt pretty reasonable in terms of armor, Cosmo, Shang-Chi. They're all like good cards to have. Even Nightcrawler makes some sense. I think if you're looking to upgrade this one moving forward and you've got more pool 3 cards available to you, the weak links probably are like Nightcrawler and Star-Lord. Like, you can probably look to play something else in those spots. Maybe you don't have to play all these anti-meta cards. Maybe you can also give up Scarlet Witch. If you're looking for more things that play well with Storm, maybe you're looking for cards like Juggernaut, or even just like Doctor Doom, maybe. But this shell actually felt super reasonable and did some very, very sweet things, so I highly recommend trying this one out for yourself if you have access to most of these cards. Until next time, folks, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel over here. I love doing these deck techs for you, and hopefully you enjoy playing with them as much as I enjoy showing them off. If you want to get one of these onto the channel yourself, you can submit it in a variety of ways. You can tag us on Twitter at Marvel Snap Zone. Come and build your deck in our deck builder on the website itself. I check that pool every day for cool and exciting stuff, which is exactly where I found this. Or you can come and join our community Discord server you can find in the description box down below in order to come and chat with up to 2,500 or even more at this point other Marvel Snap lovers and submit your decks over there as well. Until next time, I have been HowlingMines, you have been amazing, and this has been Marvel Snap Zone. Take care, have a good one.